Hey everybody, Derek Brown here with another Insider Sax Stuff episode where I talk about all things saxophone related and kind of answer questions that people have about the touring life, the saxophone life. And today I'm going to be talking about traveling with your dearly beloved saxophone, and particularly traveling on planes, because that's where the issues usually come up. Now, first of all, I want to talk about cases here, because this is important. As far as the material, I'm definitely a fan of the hard cases. The soft gig bags, I don't think cut it. If I, God forbid, had to check my instrument on an airplane, I would not trust the padding in those without something really hard that a lot of weight, a lot of luggage could be put against. So I'm a big fan of hard cases. I'm also a big fan of the contoured shape. Yes, the rectangular shape that most sax cases are great for storing things, you know, music and your metronome and whatnot. But if you're traveling a lot, you're going to want something that's easy to get around and that's going to protect it, and something that's going to allow you to carry on your saxophone onto the airplane. And basically, any chance I can do, anything I can do that's going to increase the odds of allowing me to carry it on, the better. I just don't want this thing to be checked with the luggage on a plane. One, that means you lose sight of it, and you know, you hear horror stories about people losing luggage and they just never find it, or maybe it just returns, it comes a day late or 2 days late and you've already done the gig. Or you have the horror stories of people, the damaged instruments. You know, just you've seen people, the airline people handling the luggage, and they just drop things onto each other and they're tossing. Not to mention getting jostled around on those conveyor belts. So any chance you can do to carry this thing on, the better. So this contour shape, yes, even with an alto, it's technically a little bit too long for the most approved carry-ons. So even though the bulk of it fits, this is sticking out. However, it always will fit. If you get particularly this, I know this P.Mauriat heavy-duty Warrior Pro contoured case, fits in every plane I've been in, even ones that just have 3 seats across the whole width of the plane. They fit tight, but they always fit. So you can argue with the person at the gate. It always fits. It fit on the way in. Trust me. So check this out. There's still plenty of room in here for a neck, mouthpiece. There's even a little thing up here, a little storage for, you know, for your neck strap, for my rings, for cleaning swabs. And check this out. This is just another traveling tip of mine. Stored right in the bell, I have this K&M saxophone stand. I find this to be very helpful when I'm on the road, because if I'm setting up for a gig and maybe in between sets or after sound check before the concert, what do you do with the saxophone? Do you just lay it on the floor? Do you balance it on the case? Not the safest thing, unless you can just leave it all together. And this thing just folds right up, and the saxophone fits right on it. And I know it's kind of a weird angle, but works great, fits in the case, so I always have it with me. So that's that case. Let me now change the angle of this. Thanks for staying with me. All right. It's a little warm in here in the RV today. A lot of these cases have shoulder straps, which are very good for airports. Or I actually kind of added on kind of a backpack double strap with the help of my dad. And this is important, not just for ease of carrying, which is super nice to just be able to walk hands-free, and we usually are carrying a bunch of things with us. But when you have to meet with the ticket counter at an airline, that's where the trouble can happen. And so, first of all, any chance you can have to do an online check-in, do that, because then you can skip that step. And those are the people that are most likely to see your instrument and say, wait a minute, hold on, how much does that weigh? Let's measure it. You're going to need to check that. You don't want that. So if you can get past them, you don't have to worry about the security guys, and usually the gate is okay as well. So a lot of times what I do is, first of all, always wear your sax when you come up to anybody that might question the size, because it's always going to look smaller when it's on you and they're not seeing as much, versus when you're carrying it by hand. Another thing is I always like to wear something long sleeve, and I usually like to kind of do something like this, just so they don't even It doesn't even cross their mind. It's just, I'll just look like a normal guy. And if you have a neck strap, you can put it really low so the sax is hanging down. They don't even see it at all. And that's one thing. Also, when you're going to the gate, you hand the ticket to the person. If you know you're going to do it with your left hand, you know, if you just have the one strap, put this on your right side when you go to it, or vice versa, the other way around. And finally, the last thing is get on the plane the earlier you can. That sometimes means the further back you sit, sometimes they board those first. It's a little bit different with different airlines, or like Southwest, check in online earliest so you can get in line first. And the earlier you can get on, then there's just going to be more room for you in the seat. Plus, if you're in the back of the plane, you can put your saxophone in any of these overhead compartments along the way up to the back. So you just want to make sure it gets up there. Worst case scenario, it doesn't fit up there. You have it on the plane. You can ask the flight attendants, and they usually will be fine with you putting it in their closet. I have a friend who has his Barry sax, and he usually carries it on with him, and he just has them put that in their closet, and they're usually very cool about it. So there you go. There's some tips about traveling with your saxophone, particularly on a plane. So safe travels to you wherever you're going. And speaking of travel, I hope to see you somewhere around the United States on this 50/50 tour. Be sure to subscribe to this series, to my YouTube channel, and check out my other stuff at 5050tour.com. Take it easy, and thanks for watching. Dun,